Ramona, and welcome to Ramona Interviews. And with me in the chair today, we have Daryl Silver, who is back to talk about boys.
I am.
Not the boys.
Not the boys. Just boys.
Just boys.
Yes.
And it's spelt
B-O-Y-S, and it's not a Catholic parody movie. It's not at all. I guarantee you. It's a mob movie.
It's a mob movie.
Yes.
Now, you've done some other movies. Why the mob movie and why now?
I tell you, I'll give you a little brief history. Mob movies, well, I'll give you a few pieces of brief history here. Mob movies in general are very popular genres, okay? There's an addiction to mob movies, or movies like these kinds of movies. How many times have you seen Casino and Goodfellas, and how many times have they been on the TV and they repeat all the time, and you like have to watch it again, or a certain clip again? And The Sopranos, when they were on HBO, they were an addiction.
It was a long series.
A very long series, and they could have gone double time, another 9-10 years.
Yeah.
Easily, people would have been stuck to that. Coming out of Boston, it seemed natural to do a mob movie. Growing up in the Merrimack Valley, the movie is inspired by true events. I always had these stories in my head that I wanted to tell, things I wanted to say. It seemed like the perfect time to do it. I was in production of Second Wind. Shortly after doing that, my wife Lisa, also my partner in the silver screen, would say, you know, De Niro's getting a little old, Pacino's getting a little old, and whatnot, you know. It's time for a mob movie. It's time for something fresh to come out. You should really do the mob movie that you've been wanting to do, because I had been talking about it for some time. She said, I think now would be a good time. So I wrote the script in a matter of a couple months while we were in post-production of Second Wind, the first feature which you were in. Great job.
Thank you.
And
it was an honor.
It was great. And it was 2 months of writing that. And then I had gotten it all together, put some of the cast together, gotten the locations together, and I wasn't sure at one point what I was going to do. And Joel Swick, who directed Big Fat Greek Wedding, he had mentioned to me that he was looking for an indie script at the time. And I said, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got boys all ready to go. And Lisa had said, well, maybe you should give them this movie. And then I said, well, I don't think so, because I think this feels like it has to be done locally. It has to be done within the Merrimack Valley with that local feel.
Oh, thank heavens for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't it add so much?
It does. It definitely does. And I tell you, at that point, I said, you know, I'm about to really go back into the grind and create a low budget or no budget indie. But I said, you know, I know it's going to be a lot of work, but it feels like this is what is supposed to happen. Yeah. And I felt like a lot of people were looking forward to it at that point. So I said, okay, gonna rock and roll, gonna do it. And Lisa was like, go ahead, you know, always wanted you to do a mob movie.
Yeah.
And because I had been talking about it for so long, and it's like, okay, we're going to rock, we're going to do it. Went into production for a couple months, came back a year or two later, did some pickup shots, and now we're at the point where it's done. It's premiering very soon, and it's going to have a lot of New England screenings going on, and we're going to take it national, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah.
So that's the making of the mob movie. Yes.
Now, when you were writing this script, normally does it take you a couple months to write a script? I mean, does this one just flow because you could pull from, you know, something within yourself, something from your childhood?
Are we talking spiritual now?
Now we could
You
be.
and I were having a great conversation about spirituality before we started this whole thing. And you know what's funny? Speaking of, I don't even remember most of the writing of this movie. I mean it. I don't know if it was euphoric. I don't know if it was the latte I was drinking. There was nothing else in the latte but espresso, maybe a little vanilla or caramel. But seriously, I don't remember a lot of the writing of this movie.
Yeah.
I remember it being done, and I remember handing it to executive producers or, you know, cast members and saying, read it through. What do you think? I knew there were a lot of long plane rides coming up for these people. But it took 2 months, and you're right, it just it flowed.
Yeah, it wrote
you know?
itself,
It
in a way.
wrote itself. It honestly did. And I don't remember most of it, but I know most of it was done at Borders in Methuen, I believe. Seriously.
Isn't it great, though?
It's
That's a
weird.
beautiful Borders, actually.
It is. It's not closing, thank God.
Oh, good.
Yes, so which is great.
Yeah, because that's a nice town.
It is. Methuen's great.
It
Methuen's
is.
really great. Merrimack
is.
Valley, it's where the movie's based out of.
Isn't it? And again, you can build sets, and they do it all the time.
All the time.
And I'm sure from a production point of view, it's easier because you're not worrying about the rain, or any of those kinds of delays and
course.
things like that. But there's something to be said, and I think that's why more and more movies are coming back to Boston,
Yes.
coming into this area because
Yep.
we have the real stuff.
Yes.
We have the buildings, we have the streets, we have the look,
Yep.
and what you can do with lighting is unbelievable.
Trust me, I know. Believe me, there's a lot of that went on with the mob movie, and people that see it say there's a lot of character in it, and the characters have that hard and the car, and a lot of those accents, and you can fake them. People do it all the time, sometimes well, sometimes not so well, and it's natural. It's all natural.
Yeah.
And I think Boston or New England in general has got such a nice feel. There's been so many movies that have been done. We were watching the Oscars, and it's like, okay, Social Network, New England. Okay, The Fighter, New England. And that's just awesome. The Town, New England.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just growing, and it's got a lot of character. I wouldn't have thought of doing the mob movie in California or in LA, and that's one thing I told Lisa, is like, okay, yep, her thing is there's a lot of Hollywood money that comes into New England, and I'm looking forward to that, of course, but this was something that was gritty and something that was raw, and there was something special, about that, so, which is great.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
And we have some great actors in New England.
Yes.
We really, really do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that, and I see it all the time. And it doesn't matter whether it's the professionalism that comes through, and also there's a kind of curiosity factor too, because we're not so over flooded that a
No.
lot of people want to break in or just want to experience it.
Absolutely.
Can go down and cast and try to be an extra and see how it works. And I so highly recommend that people do that because it just gives you the edge. And that's what you need today. A little more knowledge, a little more understanding. And I also think, too, in the end, it helps you appreciate the craft because it's an incredible craft to make a movie. I mean, I have no business telling you that because you obviously do it. But I mean, is it not?
It is. It is. Absolutely. It's a lot of, it all starts with the script. And then from that point there, it's formulating everything and everyone that needs to make this movie happen. The right cast, from your feeling of what the right cast is, the right locations, the right crew, the right type of camera, the right type of lighting, and then scheduling everything, getting everybody to show up at the right time, and for two people that need to be in the scene to show up together, and making sure they're eating, and that's crucial, obviously, and doing it all within a limited budget and trying to make that happen.
And then you have the weather and circumstances,
and everyone knows how funny the weather can be here in New England. Yeah,
that's
definitely,
true. That's
very much so.
And then those shots that don't have the actors in them.
Yes.
That you have to get, and as you said, you had to go back and get some more footage. Now, this one was done a little bit differently. Second one was in film. This one you said you had done
High def. HD, yeah.
How'd you like working with that, and what edge do you think it gave this movie?
Well, I think it definitely gave it more of an edge. It has more of a darker look to it, which is really nice. We actually had it professionally colored, which was nice. Michael Slater out of Las Vegas colored the movie. And color correction or doing a final coloring is very important. A lot of times you'll look at the DVDs and you look at the outtakes of movies. Well, you'll see the movie before it was colored, and it looks completely different. So the coloring just really blends a whole movie together. So shooting in HD now is what a lot of people are doing because you don't have to incur the expense of film, and it doesn't take as long, in between shots. When you shoot film, usually it's every 11 minutes. You have to change over the magazine. And when you're shooting low budget, it makes it much easier, I think. And you can do it now, and with shooting 24 frames per second, whether it's 720 or 1080, it looks great. From the beginning that that Boys would be narrative, and that it would have narration over it. And obviously, Bronx Tale has it, Goodfellas has it, Casino has it, and those were more films to probably look at than, say, Godfather, because Godfather, great movie, awesome, very epic. I mean, it's very, the score and the set in the 20s or the 30s, whatever, maybe even 40s, it's just very epic-like. So, being a big fan of that movie, indeed, and looking at that movie as inspiration was there, but as far as like going with the format and the structure, it was certainly more of like a Goodfellas Casino type. And I just knew from the fact that I was telling stories that I knew that there would be narration that would take place during the past portion of the movie, which was set, I think, in like 86 and then jumping to like 2011 or 2010. I knew that would take place. So yeah, there was definitely inspiration from those movies. But then, like I said, there were times when, years ago, if I had debated whether or not I was going to act in the movie or play the role in the movie. Obviously, I enjoy acting tremendously. It's a huge love of mine. It's probably the first love before anything else came into play. When Lisa would continually say, we need a new De Niro or a new Pacino or whatever not, and then Matt Soros, who was in second one, would say, Daryl, you remind me of Al Pacino, whatever. So it's a lot of that said, you know what? I'm going to play this role. I can play this role. And knowing some of this story myself, I feel like I'll fall into it naturally. And I did. I mean, I really enjoy it a lot. And I look at it and I watch it, whether it's myself or someone else in the movie, and I'm listening to dialect, I'm listening to mannerisms and, the way things are said and spoken. And I'm like, it's great to play something completely outside of yourself. Yeah. I mean, that's spiritual right there.
For sure
yeah,
it is.
Tapping in.
Absolutely. Now, we have a trailer. So give us a little skinny before we run the trailer. What are we going to be seeing?
It's actually a clip from the actual movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And this here is a scene that takes place in the past portion of the film back in '86. And it's the big boss, Alfred Ocasio, is good friends with the guy who's putting on a show, and these two thugs from Rhode Island end up coming in and knocking this guy off and robbing him, and they learn quickly, you don't mess with the mob or friends of the mob. And unfortunately, they learn it in quite a harsh manner, but it has to be learned. You don't do that. So this is a good idea of what you're going to get from the rest of the movie.
From the rest of the movie?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll watch that clip.
Should have known better.
So which hand did you steal with?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, huh?
Come on, man. We didn't know you knew him.
That's what research is for. You never rob someone without researching the situation first. Though I guess that's why youth is wasted on the young, huh? See, Allie? You leave him with a lesson to remember. Call Lenny. See if there's a funeral going on tomorrow. We'll bury these two underneath a couple of the other bodies. No one will ever know. Let's go.
This may sound sick, though that moment made me love my dad even
Come on,
more.
Allie, let's go.
And before I knew it, I was working hard to be a spitting image.
We just finished up with that clip, and there was no swearing.
It was hard to find a clip with no swearing, but we did it. We made it happen. We had to, definitely. And you know what's funny? When it comes to like swearing and profanity, I actually, talking about rewrites and going back into the script and rewriting, it was funny because I made it a point to go back in and like get rid of any and all like F-bombs or swearing that didn't need to be there. But there tended to still be quite a bit, because even myself, when I was playing the character, and you tap into that type of personality with that anger and that violence and that rage, it comes naturally. So when I was watching like movies like Goodfellas, Scarface, Casino, I'm like, man, they gotta swear so much. And I know now that a lot of that was probably not in the initial script. It just came with the feeling. And it either works or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because you can easily, knowing you did that, go back in and say, you know what? Especially if it's your own movie, let's do that again. I don't feel like we needed that there. But there's not a moment in this movie where that doesn't feel natural. You might get someone who's a born-again Christian to look at it and go, why so much swearing? But people that have seen the clips that are of religions where they don't like to say those kinds of things do say, but the acting was really strong. So the scene really grabs them, but it's funny how that stuff strikes them a little much, but they still love it. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is what's well placed.
What's well placed.
What's well placed. What feels real.
Yes.
And there's a lot in that clip, and there's a lot in the movie that feels real.
It is real.
And part of it comes from the fact that it's shot in the Merrimack Valley.
Yes.
Raw.
Yep.
Part of it is because the accents are real.
Yes. They're very real, completely.
And this makes a difference. And then when you have good characters and a good storyline.
Yep.
And the other thing about mob movies is that, and one of the things I like about them is that you can pick them up and it's not brain freeze. They kind of run in the same way. You kind of know the rules of the movie, the boundaries of the people that you're going to see. So in a way, it really spurs you to look at the acting.
That's right. And there's no exploitation, because the overall theme is, and it's a very cliche, type of theme that's used in tons of movies, but it works. It's that people overall are seeking, wanting, love. They're wanting that need to belong, the need to be, feel powerful, to feel attractive.
Oh, to be connected
to
something.
something.
Feel like they're part of something.
Part of something. And at the same time, to see that when you take the route that is the dark life, okay? Similar to Charlie Sheen or whatever you want to call it or whatever not. I know.
Charlie.
We all know the true meaning of winning, okay? Winning is not looking like you're sagged to the floor and, you haven't washed your hair in weeks or whatever the case may be. Winning is the true essence of following something you love and feeling connected. Well, and also, when you follow that dark path, that dark lifestyle, amen, there are fun moments that happen, or feelings of, that's how Gotti felt, and, Bugsy or whatever not felt at certain points, but you see how it all ended up. And it seems like it just always ended up the same way.
Yeah.
Even for the people that Donnie Brasco was associated with, whether they were killed in, the most violent way, or they were killed in a very simple, quick, executed way, whatever the case may be, it doesn't pay. And it's that dead simple. Crime doesn't pay. You choose that type of lifestyle, it's going to catch up with you.
That's right.
And, I even have ideas now where I want to utilize the movie, especially the ending of the movie, to say, to people that have like violence prevention programs, as I did for many years, this is not the path to choose. This is not the lifestyle to choose. This is exactly what's going to happen. And this is exactly what happened to many people
Live
that I know.
Live high and burn fast.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because you do. Because you're feeding something that isn't really creating anything.
No.
You're just feeding. You're feeding like a fire.
Exactly.
And the fire is consuming.
Yes.
And you have to just keep. So you have to put so much energy into keeping track of everything and everyone. And everyone that you're dealing with wants to be where you are.
Yes.
So while you have this kind of connectiveness, it's all based on fear, anger, and it's a monster.
It
Where
is.
when you're creating, usually when you're creating, you're sharing.
Yeah.
So you share that responsibility and you share. These people can't share. In this lifestyle, you're not sharing.
No.
It's your back, my back, his back, their back.
And they're quick to turn on everybody.
That's right.
Yes, and each other. And that's why you see in many movies, you're like, how does the best friend, like the end of Casino, how does the best friend kill like his best friend of like 20 years? It's very easy. It's dog eat dog world. very
right.
much so. And this movie definitely represents a lot of that also. And it's great. It was just a great experience.
Now, how long did it take
this is
you
awesome.
How long did it take you to do the whole film?
We started filming in the fall of 2007, and we just wrapped recently.
Yeah, but you
And
had a break in between, though.
I had,
Didn't you,
I had that
finish and
John
then-
Lennon watching the wheels break in between. That's what I
okay.
had. And if anyone doesn't know what I mean, listen to the song, will you? I mean, I had to like just step back. It was so consuming. It was, you know, that's when they talk about like Heath Ledger and The Dark Knight and how it just consumed him or whatever the case may be. These kinds of things consume you. And now we're getting ready to premiere it and screen it. So it's going to be very consuming again because why? You're putting yourself out there emotionally for people to say, I love it. This is what I love. This is what I didn't. I loved it completely, or this is what I didn't care for. You know, so you're totally putting yourself out there again. So you find yourself in a place where you're like, why didn't I choose a 9-to-5 job where I didn't have to go through any of that? But your soul just like, it speaks to you. If you're not doing what it is you love, it's just, you collapse.
Yeah, you suppress it. You suppress what you like, and you just kind of become bland.
Yes.
You know, you don't have that enthusiasm when you do something. You don't stir that
You
passion
don't.
when you're doing it.
You don't.
What's the website? If people want to go check out the trailer,
Yes.
take a look at another clip, find out where
Please.
you're going to be,
Yes.
find out how to get the movie to come here, because
That's
there's this
it.
whole marketing area, which, you know.
We're living in a social networking, like similar to Facebook and this movie, The Social Networking. We're living in a social networking type of
praise.
media.
It's
you know,
wonderful.
It's nuts. So boys, B-O-Y-S, mobmovie.com.
Yep.
That's what we'll promote. And on that site, they can see where the movie's going to screen, where it's going to be. They can demand it to come to their city or town. Get on that homepage.
Yep.
There's a Facebook link. Click like on that. The updates come through there. We're always looking for, obviously, people that are interested in investing in the movie, sponsoring us to maybe take this movie nationwide, because we're going to be doing New Hampshire, Boston, Merrimack Valley. We're going to be at the Palms in Vegas, Tribeca in New York, Austin, Texas. So we're really just branching out and pounding the pavement.
Yeah.
No, just put the movie in the envelope, send it out. I hope you like it. We're doing that with festivals, obviously,
Right.
and things like that. But we're not just sitting back. We're really taking this and really launching it. And nowadays with social networking, you can totally do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And hopefully people will be writing reviews too after they've seen it.
They hopefully good reviews
Good
after
reviews
they've seen
after
it.
they've seen
Yes,
it. You know
definitely.
what I mean? And having a buzz, because if you like it, you know, click on the like
Yes.
on Twitter and let people know.
Yep.
You know, and it's supporting something local.
It is.
You know what I mean? This is local talent
Yep.
in our area. And you know what? We deserve to be Hollywood of the East.
That's right.
Why not?
Well, Boston, I believe, just became, it was a Movie Maker magazine. I saw it listed that Boston was like the #1 spot for filming right
that's
now.
awesome.
Or at least in the top 10. I'm going to go confirm that, but I did see that
Yeah.
on Facebook, I think,
Cool.
last week. So I'm looking to pick up that new Movie Maker magazine.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we could be part of that because, as Lisa very well knows, you know, there's a comfortability and there's something that comes out when I film around here.
Yeah.
So, but this is the first project that I'm truly giving 110% to and not really working on anything else, just completely
Like,
focusing
on
you
doing
know?
this.
And
And
that's
this-
what we're doing.
And what, before we close, what advice would you give someone who's thinking of becoming a producer, a director, writer, producer?
I would say my biggest thing is, you know, my mother always says, my wife always says, both of them actually, you know, don't live in regret so much. Even though we all fall into that, don't live in regret. If you feel like 5, 10, 15 years have passed and this is something you wanted to do at that point and didn't do, well, start it now. The means are out there to do it now. You know, one thing I did do in '96, I left here and I went to LA to pursue a further education, the Hollywood Film Institute, my crash courses, whatnot. At that time, you shot film or you shot beta. That
Yep.
was it. That was it. And everyone says, don't shoot beta, da, 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 da. You got to shoot film. And because I couldn't afford to do film, I didn't shoot anything. And the 90s was huge for indie film. That's when everyone was breaking. Things are a little tougher now. Nothing is impossible. But still, going back, not in a regretful way do I say this, I wish I would have just not listened to people and just done it.
Yeah.
The thing I would say to people, I'm stealing this from Nike now. I'm borrowing it. Like you said, just do it.
It's a learning experience, and you're right. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. It
'Cause
doesn't
if you
matter
don't,
what format it comes
you
in.
won't learn.
Maybe you wanted to do an hour, you end up with a half an hour. Maybe
Yep.
you end up with 15 minutes.
Yes.
Maybe you change it and revise it.
Yep.
But, you know, and I also think too, before we close, that when you're in production, when you're doing movies, because it's a visual medium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long it is. Because there's so much to
No.
learn as you're doing
That's it.
And if you don't do it,
Do
you
it.
don't learn it.
I will come to their house, I tell you. I will take them by the collars. I will shake them. I will slap them if I need to if they don't. You got to follow your passion.
Passion,
You
yeah.
got to do it. And you got to put yourself out there. It's like when I was younger, before being married, when you're going to ask a girl out, you know, I was never like, you know, you get a little nervous. And when
Yeah.
you do something like this,
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for possible rejection. People might not
but
like
possible
it.
success and
You got to do
great
it.
learning.
That's right.
And great
Just
learning.
do it. That's it.
Absolutely. Okay, boys.
Mobmovie.com.
Mobmovie.com.
Everything is on there for them to do everything we're asking them to do.
All right,
Yes.
mobmovie.com. Thank you, Daryl Silva.
Thank you so much.
And also, great love to your wife and your mother, two
Thank you.
beautiful women.
Yes, they are
Beautiful.
indeed.
Liz,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Ramona, and you've been watching Ramona Interviews. Have a wonderful week.